Our life raft hatch had tried to jump away and break free from us.
Don has all the knowledge, skills, and materials and tools.
No big thing, real simple. And now I'm going to show you this here boat.
That's the mold. It's like a tank.
Now this one still has 2 bows, so it's a complete bow inside here, right? Yeah. Speed, wee boy, speed.
I thought the
boy.
clock hadn't started yet. Oh, we don't do waves. No, not in this boat. No.
I'm so glad that's not me.
Last week on Red Seas, you joined us as we hauled Indy for the very first time. We removed our keels in a somewhat unorthodox fashion, but once they were on the ground, we were able to make a start on repairing them from our grinding a few weeks ago. That involved epoxy, fiberglass, and, well, a lot of guessing, which led us to this wonderful man, Don, the wizard of all things boats. He agreed to give us a bit of a lesson in fiberglassing, lend us some materials, and before long, our keels were back in fighting action. So all we had to do was get them reattached, which did involve breaking a car jack, but it allowed us to get started on all the other projects.
You might remember from our very first crossing when we arrived in St. Martin, we discovered that our life raft hatch had tried to jump away and break free from us. The time has finally come to actually be able to fix it. At last. So we're not going to use it as a life raft tray anymore. We're going to store our life raft somewhere else on the back, on the transom, so that it's a little bit easier to deploy. And we just want to turn this into a usable locker so that we can store our dive gear and stuff. So we're going to try and drop the tray out of the bottom. We need to see if the bolts are seized, how easily they come away. I think there's some damage on the side that needs to be repaired. And then we're going to work out a way to try and glass it in, probably from the top and from the bottom, just to make sure that it's really secure and nothing is ever going to fall out of it ever again.
Two of the studs fell out the boat as you undid them, instead of staying epoxied in place. One is still good, another one sheared.
Yeah.
Good time to do this. Very good time to do this. So one of the incredible people we've met while we've been here in the yard is a guy called Don. You probably saw him earlier when he was helping Brenny learn how to fiberglass our keels and repair them. Well, he is one of these special people. Not only did he turn up to help us do all of that completely unannounced and without charging us anything, he's just giving his time and his knowledge and in fact even some materials. He's a really, really generous guy. He's offered for us to use his workshop that he uses to build his own boat to fiberglass and gel coat a hatch that we're going to use to seal in the bottom of our life raft. And Don has all the knowledge, skills and materials and tools to do that. So what an absolute legend. I'm also secretly hoping he's going to show us around his boat because I've heard a lot about it. This is his 4th boat. And yeah, I'm really interested to just see how you build a catamaran because we live on one, we move with one, we fix one, but never built one. So you never know what you might discover in the process. So yeah. Don's shed is actually just outside the boatyard through this locked gate. I can see his truck, which means he's here. But we don't have his phone number or anything, so I'm not really sure how we're going to get his attention. I don't really want to climb that fence with barbed wire on it. So near and so far.
Oh, it's open.
Oh, for goodness sake. Authorized only.
Hello, hello.
All right, so we'll start. We have a mold here, which is basically MDF board with a laminate side on it.
Okay.
We used a section of it yesterday. We cleaned it up and we waxed it and we put on 1 coat of gel coat. All right. And now we're putting on the first mat, which is a 1 ounce mat. A mat comes in 3/4 ounce, which is really the thing we should be using because it's very, very light. And you try to take out all the bubbles out of the mat against the gel coat. That's
so we have to press it down while we're raising.
Right. So 3/4 ounce mat is very thin, so it's easy for the bubbles to come out.
Gotcha.
We're using 1 ounce because I have 1 ounce. And then you have 1 3/4 ounce, which you don't normally use for a first mat ever. Right? But the 1 ounce, we've used it all through the boat. It's working fine. And so it should be okay.
Okay, right. I didn't realize you changed the grade of mat as you work through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You get heavier as you go through. On the outside of it, you want a very light mat so you can get out all the bubbles. I've cut the mat. We're going to wet it out now against here and put it down properly.
It's so interesting because I've only ever seen it the other way around, where you start with the balsa, then you put the glass, and you spray on some gel coat. So this is like all backwards. Isn't
Well,
it?
this is with the mold, you see.
That makes sense.
Because of the mold. All right?
Brilliant. Okay.
So that's what we're doing. Putting 5 cc's to 1 pint. And this is polyester, right? And now we're just going to put this, just going to put it on. And spread it around.
I gotcha.
And I can get, this is just an old brush, and we just literally just spread it around. And so we're making this a bit bigger than the actual part needs to be.
Yes.
All right, so that we can cut it to size. Because there are various ways we can fit it onto the
I've been sketching like crazy trying to work
okay,
out.
well, it'd be interesting to see what you came up with. Because I'm very open to ideas on how...
Well, hey, you're the expert.
You know, no, but you still have, you know, there are various ways of doing it. Then we take that here, that roller, you're just running it back and forth like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no big thing, real simple.
Easy, Lenny.
All right? With your right hand, if you don't mind. Just kidding you.
I'm ambidextrous. This is the closest to kitchen work I've ever had.
Stage 1 is done, and the first layer of fiberglass is kind of dry, so we just need to sand it a little bit now, and then we can put the next layer down.
Okay.
And
That's better than the way I do it. I never do it like that. I like that.
You know when you do 1,000 of them.
Yeah, it's right. I'm always putting them inside each other.
You find a system.
It's wasteful.
You find a system. And now I'm going to show you this here boat. You have to actually get it so that we create a balloon. Ah, that's better. There you go. You keep practicing. That has to stay for an hour.
Okay, great. Right. Does that mean that we can ask you to show us around your wonderful boat?
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
I can wait for this for weeks.
So we took the boat out of the mold, and I cut it down the middle, right down to the keel, back of the keel, and I opened it up by this amount. So I put it open,
okay.
And then we fiberglass underneath and on top.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So before it would have been a narrower step?
Before it would have been 3.5 inches narrow, and I wanted a little bit more support at the back for the engines.
So it's more buoyancy that comes from that.
More buoyancy and a flatter after surface for sort of a planing effect in the back.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
This is all my very non-engineering.
Hey, we
opinion.
have a massive flat surface in the back, so I know what you mean.
The second thing, I took off a foot off the depth of the keel in the mold. So we put in a piece in the mold.
Okay.
And when we laid it the fiberglass, we went down 6 inches.
Yeah.
Not the full foot. That's the second thing.
6 inches.
So the keel is 6 because it's a power boat.
That's not a keel.
Well, but it's a grounding. It's a grounding. Something to sit down. Something to sit down on land. That's all it is.
Amazing.
And then the third thing, let me come up to the front and I'll show you.
He says things like this as if it's easy. Oh, we just chopped our mold open. Come on. That's the mold. It's like a tank.
The third thing I did was to redo the bows. This bow used to come from the top there to about 16 inches behind here. So it was the old
super
long
rigged,
overhang.
yeah. Oh, interesting.
And, right, so I brought it up, we've put it up 16 inches and fed it all in. Now, if you look from the front, you'll see what the effect is.
Oh, you've actually flared almost, yeah. So it's,
right.
Oh, that's an interesting combination.
Gosh, it
I mean, that in itself
at
is
least
huge.
2 months to do this. And then we took a mold of it. And we cut off the old bow there.
There you go, okay,
We put on the mold, and then we glassed from the existing hull into the new mold and back out. So that's a replica of this.
That's insane.
All right, so it's exactly. Okay, that's the third thing. And then we put on these because now this one still has 2 bows, so it's a complete bow inside here, right? Yeah.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
that one has just the one bow.
If you're going to hit a whale, you're going to aim on this side.
I want to hit this
okay,
one.
good.
It's really
good
strong.
to know.
This one is strong as well.
And then this is for your bridle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we put in
interesting.
these, and then we added on a foot onto the top.
I was about to
all
ask,
the way
yeah,
down.
because with Indy, we've got our bridle is actually part of the crossbar, but it's
Yeah.
all the way up here. So I was wondering why it was lower.
Yeah.
So all of this section used to be like that with windows in it. So the hull came up and then it would go back, then the deck, and then up over the coach roof. And they've just taken that slanting section and straightened out so the hulls just go further up.
When you get up here, you see the size of this area. This is it. So we have on the far side there, we have the galley, the table. Here we have the galley, so there's a shelving system with a counter that runs all the way here. We have a wall here, then we have this bedroom. That door is there going into the bathroom, which is shared with the room behind it.
But I see here, I think, you're leaving hatchways
you
to
have
access?
access to it because you have to go down sometimes to service.
Exactly,
All right?
yeah.
It's all the
And
tanks,
storage?
the pumps, the water maker, everything is under, everything hidden. So you only go down there when you have to do it. And then in the front here, all these compartments, there are fenders, ropes, anchor lockers, no sails. So
Dude, this is cavernous.
it's large. That is the beast.
Is that the name you're going for?
No.
I hope
Always a girl and always a song.
Well, those engines I spotted wrapped in plastic certainly look like they'll do the job.
Yeah, well, they're 125s each.
125.
I want to do, being a sailor or a would-be sailor, I think that 8 or 9 knots is great for cruising.
Yes,
So
indeed,
that's
yeah.
my speed. And then if I want to go to 18 knots, I think she'll do 18 knots flat out.
And that's the thing. So you mentioned this. I hope I'm not insulting, but you mentioned the fact that you've gone from very much a very fast sailing, racing almost catamaran design, and now you're moving towards the powerboat, not because you're going to the dark side, but because it's slightly easier
It's just easier.
as time
Easier
moves
to
on.
get older.
Yeah.
You're just easier. And if I can incorporate the wings, the kite sail,
Yes,
that would
be incredible.
really be nice if I can do it.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, the kite sail is basically a giant power kite that you send off the front of the boat. So you see these guys wake like power kite surfing. Effectively, you're just dragging the boat along with one of those and cutting it through the power zone, right? It's just back and forth.
That's right.
It's absolutely incredible
It can
concept.
all be done automatically with the computer thing, to pull it in and change it. Because the kite does this all the time.
Figure
There's
eights
a lot
almost,
more
yeah.
power.
Yeah,
A
through
lot
the
more
power
power.
zone,
You think
yeah.
it just stays there? No. This gives you much, much more power. It does a figure of 8 all the time. And the computer is just doing it.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense to do it. It's such a great way to power
No
sail.
mast, no
downwind.
rigging.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No drag. When you put it away, it's gone, Whereas we've got a big stack pack that lives there the entire time.
And the other thing with kites is they give per square foot, I forget what the fact is, but something like 3 or 4 times the power per square foot as a sail.
No way. I didn't know
That's
that.
the amazing thing. So you think the kite has to be the size of a sail? It doesn't have
Not
to
the
be.
case, yeah.
It's like a quarter the size of a sail to give you the same power.
And then you just reel it in and put it away and job done.
Yeah. You reel it in, goes into a little ball, like a spinnaker, and you're gone.
Interesting.
Okay,
wow,
let's
this is
go down.
incredible.
Yep. Good, thank you. Glad you like it.
I'm blown away by it. Seriously.
Big.
This is stunning.
Our friend Noel, a delivery skipper for Leopard, popped round to see the process and help us finalise the design. So now we're getting to the really exciting bit where we're going to actually put the balsa core into the slab, and then somehow we're going to vacuum it down onto the whole kind of sandwiched thing. So yeah, we're about to find out what this vacuuming process actually looks like.
Okay, so this tape just goes on like this, and we actually recycle this thing off. I'll give you a little task. You want, just get to the middle of that. I've cut this out. This should fit here fine.
Really easy.
I'm really coping well with the wind.
Yeah, what's keeping you back? Speed, boy. Speed,
I thought the
boy.
clock hadn't started yet.
Just tie that up, tighten that, put that on, screw it up tight, and that's ready to go with the vacuum. And it has to go on quite heavily. And it'll go over the edge, Ian, it's not a problem. You're just trying to keep it off the tape. Whoops, I told you not to do it. But it's not important, you see, because the brown paper is there.
It makes me feel better because I've done it a few times.
All right, now, so that fun part is over.
The final stage was to completely cover the balsa core with resin before moving it onto the mould and preparing it for vacuuming.
Putting on the ball, Sarah. Try not to let it touch the surface.
Okay.
And you get your corners lined up. I think we had it here. It's not important, but you get your corners lined up with the black pen.
Gotcha.
Looks as though it's good there. It's not to me too much, right?
Yeah, bang on, I think.
All right. It looks a little bit further over my way.
Oh, it looks further my way at this point. So
All right,
good.
well, that's good. That's good. What do you do with those? All right, that's good. That's the first one. And take this one over and put this one on here. So we're going to put it against here, on your right side.
Gotcha.
Put this down really close and push it in and put it down, okay? And next thing is we go along, we take off this brown tape and you try not to get any of the resin on the yellow tape. And we're just putting these, and they all come to the frog right here. Right, okay, back on with this now. All right, Noel Squire, line that back up there, boy. Press down there like that. Flick that switch there. Oh, sorry, it's on blue. Put it on the other one. It's all right, just put it on the other end. That's fine, it's on blue. That would have done it.
That would have been exciting,
really
yeah.
done it.
It's a funny
put
color.
it on again. Right,
All right.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
And like that, it's straight down. And actually, what's really freaking me out is seeing those droplets moving along the line there. That's... I didn't think a vacuum would be that strong for that process.
This is a crazy process.
But very, very cool. You're crackling.
Yeah, that's just the paper.
Yeah.
Let's leave it like this for the night.
Oh,
You know
okay.
why? Because if we have any rain, it's covered.
Ah, yes.
Strictly because of rain, it's covered.
That's a good point. Yeah,
So
okay.
let's leave it like this for the night.
It's day 2 of our life raft build, and we're heading back to Don's workshop to see how the vacuum process went. We left everything under the plastic last night just in case it rained, so hopefully it should all be good to go. I think there's just one more layer of fiberglass we need to put on, and then we'll be measuring up and actually fitting it into the hole that we have in the boat. So yeah, we are definitely seeing progress, and we're almost there.
Okay, so we're sanded, cleaned up with a brush, and Don is just getting out the biaxial fiberglass mat, which is then going to make a covering over the top of this, and then we're done.
We're going to take the part off the mold. You just literally go along, and you just kind of
Just like peeling it.
yeah, and you can.
Oh, you can hear it.
You can hear it starts to come out. Yeah, yeah, and you can just tap it along, and slowly but slowly, as the French people say, slowly but slowly. So you do that, but you have to be careful. You don't get cut on here.
Yeah.
So, oops.
I can see a gap.
Go straight through there now. Yeah, just go ahead straight through there. It's going to start to lift it off. See?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let me.
Scared I'm going to break it right at the crucial
Yeah,
moment.
I'm going to rig it. No. All right, and then we can just start to. Okay.
Woohoo!
You thought it wasn't going to come off, didn't you?
That's incredible.
So there you are. So we put it up on the board. We now cut it out exactly a little bit smaller than we need.
Yeah.
About a 16th of an inch on each side so that the fiberglass can go in. Maybe a little bit more than that. Give it a little room. It's not important. Okay?
Yeah.
And then it goes up and it's
Perfect.
there.
So you look like you're having fun.
I'm getting so picky over this job. I'm supposed to just be like sanding down the fiberglass edge that we put on the edge of the balsa to seal it, but a tiny little bit of epoxy got round onto the gel coat and I don't like how it looks. It's probably going to get covered up and no one's going to see it, but I'm just trying to sand off really gently without scratching the gel coat before we actually then fix this into the boat. So yeah, give me a couple hours and I'll be ready.
Well, we always have hours, all that time available to burn on this sort of stuff.
Absolutely. It's definitely a high priority.
Maybe we should sand the void rather than the plank at this point. this is it. The panel heads up into that void. Thankfully, Don knows what he's doing.
Always.
Let's see if it works first.
Just before you start filming, Don said, I know exactly what I'm doing. This is going to work first time perfectly.
First time perfectly, but now I'm just having a little second thought. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Bound to it. Of course, you're not going to go any waves, are you? Not waves.
Oh, we don't do waves. No, not in this boat. No.
Lake sailors we are.
Lake. Prefer to stay on the hard.
So we're trying to prop the base up on 2 high stands so that we don't have to hold it in place, and then we're going to epoxy around the edge, and then we can go inside and actually lay fiberglass from the inside. So first step, just get it in place and check that it fits.
Excellent.
Well, that's how it has to stay. Then we're going to even it up now.
So we have this epoxy filler that Don's made up. I'm having to go around the entire seam, but it's actually quite tricky, so putting it all up inside the gap between the wooden board, or the fiberglass built board, and the boat. So it's a bit of a tedious project, but at the same time very, very time critical, because this all goes off and goes solid. What's really exciting is that we no longer have a hole in the cockpit floor. Woohoo! It's only taken us almost a year.
So it's starting to take shape downstairs, and when we go up into the cockpit, we actually have a real live hatch instead of a hole. Look at that! So all the power tools are just being a weight now to hold it in position while we get everything fixed, and then obviously they're not going to live in there. But it's definitely starting to look like it should. As the epoxy is squished into the gap around the bottom, it's hopefully going to come all the way through and sort of splurge out of the top. And just before it hardens, we need to kind of go around with a little lollipop stick and just smooth off those corners so that it's ready to lay the fiberglass, because there's this weird kind of overhang inside the locker, so it's really difficult to get to that seam, and we definitely don't want to have to sand it once it's dried and hardened. Okay, so this is the very final stage of fixing our life raft hatch. As you can see, the sides of the locker have this huge overhang which make it super fiddly and really difficult to do. And so Don's friend Rolly has come to help us, and he's certainly having to use his yoga skills to get right underneath to get this fiberglass to lay flat. I'm so glad that's not me. Mad skills here, I love it. And this is what it looks like from underneath. So we sealed in all the edges around here, tried to make it as neat as possible. I was quite impressed with it, to be honest. But then Newton, this guy in the yard who's been helping us out with a whole ton of stuff, came and gel coated the whole thing in for us. So now you can't even tell there's anything there. It looks better than before, and that is definitely not going to fall out when we're sailing. We did it!
It's stuck to the other glove.
You're so proud of that trick.
So good.